Guys, my name is Mess, and I wanted to show off the Suck and Blow build. The general idea behind it's Cyclone Strike, sucks them in, then you're going to use Lashing Tail Kick to blow them away. It's kind of a hybrid build from quite a few other builds I've been researching, and it seems to be the most effective. I can just run through T1 or T1 and T2, no problems. Very fast, very efficient, best for legendary farming, best for Paragon, getting your Paragon levels up. It's just the best overall monk build that I've found so far. It's very versatile. You get a couple options to pick whichever one you want yourself. I'll go ahead and get right to it. We'll start with the skills. I chose Crippling Wave at first. Actually, at first I tried Fist of Thunder. It seemed to be the go-to, especially before 2.0 came out, with Thunderclap. I like it a lot still. If you like it a lot, if you like it better than Crippling Wave, you're more than welcome to do so. But overall, I found Crippling Wave does the most damage, as well as hinders the monsters by 30% movement speed and 20% attack speed for 3 seconds. So that's a pretty nice kind of skill it gives right there. The rune that I would definitely recommend, especially with Fist of Thunder, if you want to use it, is the rune that gives you the 4 spirit for every enemy hit on crit. So it's Rising Tide for Crippling Wave. It's huge spirit regen. It's a spirit generator ability. It's definitely worth your while. It's going to allow you to generate more spirit, spend spirit faster, which gets you through the level faster. You'll find out once I show you a little bit more about it. Your secondary, I chose Lashing Tail Kick. Vulture Claw Kick is the rune. The biggest reason why I chose this is just because it does huge damage and AoE damage. So you want to suck them in with the Cyclone, and then you're going to do big AoE damage to all the enemies around you. Kill them all in like 1 or 2 of those Lashing Tail Kicks, and then you're going to use Dashing Strike to get to the next mob. There's Cyclone Strike. I went with the one that pulls enemies from 34 yards away. That gives, produces the best results as far as clearing a level faster. Definitely go with that. Don't go with any other rune. The damage is just a add-on bonus to how good this already is. If it didn't do damage, I still would use it. But you pretty much can spam Cyclone Strike with generating as much spirit as you do. Great combo. Sweeping Wind, of course, with Cyclone rune. There's actually 2 runes you can use. You can use Firestorm, if you want. Firestorm hits enemies further away, which means it'll do the same. It'll do more damage to more. It'll do the same amount of damage to more enemies, which can mean more DPS. But Cyclone just absolutely blows it out of the water. It does the maximum DPS at max stack count, especially with little cyclones. If you have lightning skill damage stacked on your weapons or gear, it's just amazing and does awesome DPS. Let's see, Dashing Strike. I never really got into Dashing Strike. I thought everyone that used it would didn't really make a lot of sense for me. But once you start using it effectively, it gets you in and out of pretty bad situations really quickly. On top of that, it does pretty good damage, and it costs nothing. Just its own separate charge is what they call it, but it doesn't cost any spirit. Amazing skill. If you pair it with the Barrage rune, you get huge damage. It looks like a 7-sided strike. It pretty much hits them from different hits whatever enemy you blow through last at different angles for 2 seconds, and you are free while this barrage is hitting that last enemy. So on top of the barrage, you can also just use your Crippling Wave Spirit Generator during the same 2 seconds as barrage is going on. So it's paired with that, it's excellent. Another reason why you want to go with this is, let's say you're using Sweeping Wind and you ran out, and you're in a bad situation, you have no spirit left, you feel like you're kind of, in a really bad spot. You spam your Sweeping Wind when you get enough spirit. Then you want to use Dashing Strike to get away, but towards an enemy, right? You want to go past an enemy so you actually hit that enemy. The barrage that happens over the 2 seconds will strike, I don't know how many times, 5, 6, 7 times, however many times it takes for 2 seconds. But during those strikes, you can proc the crit, which will count towards your stacks for Sweeping Wind, as well as life on hit. So if I'm further away, if I'm almost death, I'm out of spirit, and I am out of stacks, you literally can Dashing Strike past an enemy. It'll heal you, it'll get your spirit up, and it will add your stacks to Sweeping Wind. You can even get all 3 stacks in one Dashing Strike. Pretty neat. A lot of people didn't know that. Your mantra. You can go with any mantra. It's pretty gear dependent. You can go with Mantra of Evasion. That's what I used for the longest time until I got a little bit better gear. Mantra of Evasion paired with Backlash is it's the best overall mantra you can have. Reason being, you're going to use Cyclone Strike. You're going to pull up to 16 enemies towards you. Then, as they're hitting you, you're going to dodge them. Well, I'm sorry. As they try to hit you, you dodge most of the attacks if you have a high enough dodge. Well, the more you dodge over 16 enemies, you're going to hit. You're going to send a blast, an AOE blast of 82% of your weapon damage to all nearby enemies. So if you're getting 16 enemies that hit you, or they're trying to hit you, let's say 50% of them, 60% of them miss, well, that's going to be quite a lot of damage if you think about it. Mantra of Retribution is okay. Use whatever rune you want to if you like that a lot. Mantra of Healing is pretty good if you're running low on all resistance. If you want a little bit more vitality, you want some regen. It's a really good toughness mantra. But if you have pretty good gear, just go strictly DPS. Go with Mantra of Conviction. I use overall. It helps out a lot. Now, if you want to go like T1, T2, Mantra of Conviction is really good. Any higher, I would say go with Mantra of Evasion and Backlash. Okay, the passive skills. I use Sixth Sense just because I don't have Mantra of Evasion, so I'm going to need that little extra dodge chance. If you have that active, you can switch Sixth Sense out with Combination Strike or Resolve if you need a little bit less damage taken, or whatever one else you like. Absolute must is Exalted Soul. The only reason why you would not want Exalted Soul as part of your passive skills is if you have a piece of gear that adds bare minimum 100 spirit to your bubble here. So you don't want any less than 250 spirit. If you have any less than that, it's just not going to be an effective build. Don't do it. Of course, if you have the 250, feel free to switch out to whatever you want. I use one with everything. I like to have a lot of all resistance. I have like 840 something. You only need about 7 to 750. I could switch it out, but I don't want to die because I got a ton of those pulls and 25% for like the next 4 or 5 or 6 levels, however many they stack, which is nice. But yeah, those are the skills. The next thing is stats. So your damage, you want it to stay around like 110, 120,000 damage. That's plenty enough to get you through T1 and T2. 156 is a little overkill for T2. That's what we're playing on right now. Yeah, you could do T3, even T4 with 156 damage with all the extra buffs and stuff that I have on my weapons. But I'll explain to you that in a second. Your toughness, you want to stick around 900 to 1,000,000. Any more than that, of course, is great. Your actual offensive stats. Okay, a lot of people they only go for crit chance, they only go for crit damage, and they don't care less about attack speed. Some people care a little bit more, but it should be your #1 priority is attack speed. You don't want to go any less than 2.1 attacks per second. 67 attack speed is pretty good. You can get more. You can have a little less, I guess, but stick around there. Your critical hit chance, you don't want any less than like 43, 44%. Crit hit damage, you want to have. Okay, the magic ratio is 1 to 10. So every 1% crit hit chance you want to have 10% damage. That's going to be the most effective. So if I have 400 crit chance, or I'm sorry, 40 crit chance, I'll want 400 crit damage. If I have 41 crit chance and 390 crit damage, it's actually less DPS. So yeah, stick with that ratio as much as you can. I definitely need more crit hit damage. I have some Marquise gems to throw in here. I just don't want to do it since ROS isn't out. With Reaper of Souls, when I unsocket Marquise gems, it's going to be pretty cheap, not 5 million. I don't want to waste 10 million gold dealing with that right now. I can do T2 just fine. Armor, 3,000 is a good point to shoot for. Any higher, of course, is great. That's actual straight damage reduction from everything, elemental, physical, whatever. Armor is key. Armor and dodge are the two best overlooked abilities or stats in the game. Dodge because you take 0 damage when you dodge whatever it is, but some elements the dodge doesn't apply to, so that's where your armor kicks in. Dodge chance, yeah, over 40%, definitely no reason to have less than 40%. If you have less than 40%, you need to go Mantra of Evasion and what's that skill? Sixth Sense. Otherwise, you need to have over 40. I went a little overkill on the all resistance for T2. Like I said, you can go 700, 750 with T2 just fine. I just don't want to die. I don't like dying, so that's definitely the best bet. Over 800 is awesome. And I don't even have any diamonds. I kind of have some shit gems right here, but that's just because I sold all my gems before Reaper of Souls when they were actually worth something, and I figured Marquise gems drop all the time in Reaper of Souls, so it's just not worth it to keep those high-level gems. What's next? Thorns damage, we'll talk about that in a second. Max life, 83,000. That's a lot of life. You don't need 83,000 life. You can 60,000 is plenty enough. 50,000 is even okay for T1 and T2. I'm pretty much geared for T3 or T4, but I do T2 so fast, and I get pretty good amount of legendaries. I get a lot of experience, so it's just the best for me right now. Life per second, regen definitely helps. A lot bigger of a deal than it was in before patch 2.0.1. But now it's pretty good. Life on hit, you gotta have it. Life steal is garbage now. They nerfed it. It's a worthless stat. If you don't have life per hit, you need to get it. Don't go any less than 1,400. I guess if you can go like 1,200, it's okay. 1,400 is really not that great. I need to get more than that. Just to sustain life and get you out of some bad spots. If you're running low on life per hit on your equipment, then use your Paragon points to make up for it. That's definitely key. Spirit regen. Well, actually, maximum spirit, stay at the 250. We talked about that. Your spirit regen, you don't need it. Is it nice to have? Absolutely. If you can get it, enjoy it. Otherwise, don't really worry about it. You generate so much spirit from Crippling Wave. It's not that big of a deal. Movement speed, 25% is a must. You want to get your movement speed. If you have 24% on your gear, then just spend 2 Paragon points or whatever it is to get your 1% more on your 1% movement speed, and just leave it at that and spend the rest on something else. This other stuff doesn't matter. So, okay, let's go over the gear. I got pretty lucky. I found some nice finds. Plus, I like to stack lightning lightning skill damage. I have 21% here on my Eye of the Storm. I have 12% on T-Gods, and I have 23% on my One Kim Lao. That's a huge damage boost. It doesn't really it isn't calculated right as far as this unbuffed DPS goes. I actually do a lot more damage than this. It just doesn't. It's just not calculated. So you kind of have to look past that. But it's a huge deal. So lightning damage. If you go with the Spirit Generator, what is it? Fists of Thunder. It's a lightning damage skill, so it will do more damage with this. But I still like Crippling Wave better. Now, as far as Sweeping Wind, that will stack with Sweeping Wind. So your Sweeping Wind is going to do huge damage whenever the Cyclones come out and hit for 23% damage. It's going to be, it's just, you know, it just all stacks up. It's going to be a big damage boost. It's critical. If you don't want to have, if you don't want to stack lightning skills damage, then do fire and then change the rune on your Sweeping Wind to the Firestorm. Let's see. With one with everything, I went with lightning res. T-Gods gives me a ton of lightning res, so one with everything just seemed right. I use Inna's chest and Inna's pants. It's pretty standard. I went with gold pickup radius. In ROS, gold pickup's going to be huge, so I went with that. You can, you know, have better stats, of course, but that's what I went with, and it clears T2 in no time, which you'll see in a few minutes. Vile Ward is one of the cheapest and best routes to go with. That's where you get a lot of your toughness from. Lots of armor, all res, regen. It's just all around one of the best shoulders you can get. Let's see. Crafted Amulet. I got really lucky. Crafted the Trifecta. Unfortunately, I got Poison res as my secondary, but with the Mystic, I'll be re-rolling that and get light res. It'll be pretty nice. My Lacunis. The attack speed's a must. The really nice thing about these Lacunis, which I was going to talk to you about later, is the Thorns damage, the 12/12 damage per hit. I found this weapon, which gives you the skill, or the affix, or whatever. The 94% of your Thorns damage is applied on every attack. So 94% of my 12/12 damage is going to be applied on every hit. Now, the more Thorns damage you have, the better. I was just kind of playing around with this axe a little bit. Beforehand, I was using this Echoing Fury. Echoing Fury with the same gem actually gives me more damage. Fear doesn't really matter since I Cyclone Strike. It pulls enemies from so far away. It kind of, it just kind of cancels that out. So, Echoing Furies are a pretty good choice. Also, this one, I found this really nice weapon. I would like to get a socket in it, but it is pretty good. But yeah, just, you know, I like testing out the new legendaries, feel more comfortable. My rings, Trifecta ring, got really lucky, bought that on Auction House. I'm not gonna lie about it, but you know, it works. Now I went with Nat's boots, Nat's ring, lots of toughness here. I went with some DPS here, a little bit of toughness, which is nice. But especially I want those two just to get the extra 7% crit chance. My gloves, they could be better. I liked how much life I got. It was a really high crit chance. You know, I've crafted better gloves. On my barb, I have probably some of the best gloves in the game. But you know, these are pretty good. I'm gonna try to find better ones. Try to re-roll a little bit, but you know, high crit chance on gloves, and attack speed is really nice. Yeah, those are my weapons, my equipment. You can switch out with whichever one you want. You know, whatever fits your playstyle better. But okay, I'll go ahead and show you how it works. First of all, you're going to go ahead and dash to your Weeping Hollows. I want to test it out on. So once I get over here, I'm going to go ahead, spam Sweeping Wind. I'm going to dash into a mob. I'm going to Cyclone Strike. If it's a big mob, I'm going to go ahead and Lashing Tail Kick. That's my blow, right? So you don't want to necessarily go in the middle of one single mob. If there's two mobs, you want to dash into the middle of the two mobs, and then use your Lashing Tail Kick. Don't spam Lashing Tail Kick because it's a quick way to lose a lot of spirit. Your Crippling Wave does so much damage, and it generates so much spirit that you can literally just pretty much spam Crippling Wave. Like if you watch me hitting, just spamming one, I can regen almost as fast as I can spam. On small mobs, don't just use that. Just spam your Cyclone Strike. Does good damage with your Crippling Wave, no problem. There's a mob right here. Big mob, I want to use Cyclone Strike. I only have to do that once, maybe twice, and kills everything. It is overpowered. You know, I like it a lot. Of course, if it's overpowered and it's available, I'm going to use it. But yeah, definitely recommend it. So as you can see, I'm not even playing this at maximum speed. Here's a little test run to see how well you'll do against elites. So right now what I should have done first was hit my mantra to give me that extra DPS and then spam my Lashing Tail Kick. As you can see it just demolished that elite on T2. You know, it's pretty good. Elites won't stand in your way. You can kill them so fast that you don't feel like you have to skip them to get the better drop rate or to get the extra experience. You can go ahead and kill the elites and not feel like you just wasted your time, which is pretty cool. And you know, I like killing elites anyways, just because it feels pretty rewarding. You want to dash like I've been doing to your next mob. If you have 2 dashes available, feel free just to dash in the middle of nowhere just to get to your next spot, so you don't have to re-spam Sweeping Wind or re-hit it anyway. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not playing as fast as possible. I'm just kind of taking my time, showing you guys the build. If the best way to do it, if there's like a couple stragglers, like 1 or 2, don't even waste your time hitting the 1 or 2 stragglers. Just keep dashing strike pasting them until you get a mob. Kill the mob, dash strike away again. That's the best way to farm legendaries. The best way to get your Paragon level. It's just the best way to go about on any build on any character. Don't waste your time on just one single monster or 2 single monsters. Wait till there's a few of them available. Hit them. Unless you need the life on hit to regen your life, or you need some type of resource. But here's another elite pack. We'll see what we can do. It's reflective, so my life's going to go away pretty quickly. Let me go ahead and spam a potion. I didn't need to. I could have used Dashing Strike, but I wanted to stay in the mix. Go ahead and kill those mobs. I want to Dashing Strike away from that I forget what it's called, whatever that blows up. It doesn't do a shit ton of damage, that explosion, but it does enough to notice. I'm gonna go ahead and spam my mantra, kill him. Done. Really easy. On some mobs we're gonna have a little tougher time, but that's pretty much the most amount of time you're gonna spend on the mob is that right there, which is pretty nice. If that's the most amount of time that you're gonna spend on a mob, hey, that's a good build. You're getting by fast. So already we're almost done with this run. See, I just lost my. Oh, here's a good show you lost my Sweeping Wind. So I want to go ahead and spam it and then dash through these enemies, and you're going to see the stacks start. So there's that dash. So I got an extra stack on that dash with the Rune Barrage. So I only got 1 this time, but I have gotten 3 before, which is really nice. And here's what I was talking about. When you do Weeping Hollow, it's not really it's a really good place to level, get legendaries, and you find all these pools of reflection, and they stack on top of each other. So, it says it shows right here I'm at max level, but once I get to my max level, I have probably 5, 6, 7 levels of that reflection stack, which is pretty nice. But alright guys, again, my name is Mess. I hope you liked the video. Please comment below your thoughts, and thanks for watching.